Yo, what is up guys? Thank you for tuning into my video today. I want to go over with you the Zero review for the weekend of January 10th to the 13th. I do hope you enjoy these videos. I'm going to try to put them out weekly. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, well starting off, he's got a couple juicers here this weekend. Really good catalyst. Firstly, he has the catalyst for the Legend of Acrius. This was a raid weapon, and what it does is this will actually increase your ammo reserve capacity from a baseline of 4 shots up to 6. I'm going to show you the gun here. So with this catalyst, you also get Trench Barrel. And the way Trench Barrel works is it gives you a 3-stat bonus. It will increase your handling and your reload speed, and this will also increase your damage output. If you do use 3 shots, it will consume the perk itself. Definitely a really good catalyst for this weapon. I would highly recommend it. Secondly, here he's got the catalyst for Trinity Ghoul. This is also a really great catalyst. What it does is it improves the lightning rod perk, so now it will trigger from any arc damage final blow. The way that lightning rod works is when you get a precision kill, your very next shot will dissipate this lightning rod effect, and it applies jolt, and it's like this large AoE of electric damage. It's very useful. What it'll do is, instead of requiring a precision kill, it'll just proc now from any arc damage final blow, so it doesn't have to be precision. Moving on, now we've got the Mechaneer Strict Sleeves with some pretty horrible stats. It has no intellect, no recovery, as you can see. I mean, for hunters, it does have high mobility and resilience. Just generally not a very good roll, I would say, in my opinion. Next, the Insurmountable Skull Fort for Titans. Again, terrible rolls on recovery and intellect. I can see a trend happening here. And the Chromatic Fire for Warlocks. This week he does have the exotic class item piece, and in the strange gear offers, he does have Hawkmoon here with snapshot sights. In the first column it has corkscrew rifling. It has snapshot sights as well in the third column, along with polymer grip. Next up, the Huckleberry. He's got Sunshot and the Warcliffe Coil. Moving on to legendary weapons, the Ignition Code rolling with Surplus and One for All. Scathe Lock with Under Pressure and Adrenaline Junkie. Stochastic Variable with Surplus and Unrelenting. Contingency Plan, Surplus, One for All. Sail Spy Pitch Glass with Outlawed Vorpal Weapon. The Eleatic Principle with Offhand Strike and Tap the Trigger. And the Eternity's Edge with Relentless Strikes and Surrounded. So I would just say all of these here are all meh. And if you did want to get a sword and go around with swords and have fun, I would say this is actually a god roll for a sword per se. Relentless Strikes and Surrounded is exactly what you want in a sword. With Relentless Strikes, continuous light attacks will actually generate ammo, and Surrounded will actually buff your damage when 3 or more enemies are in close proximity. So those are basically the 2 god roll perks for any sword. And now moving on to legendary armor for the Warlock class. What we have here is a pretty good roll. I would say a pretty basic roll for the gauntlets. And we've got the chest armor here rolled absolutely horrifically. It has no resilience and no recovery and lots of mobility. This is a terrible roll. The helmet, the pretty basic flatline base stat line here, nothing too crazy going on. And on the leg armor, it has a high discipline roll, so pretty good. I guess if you needed to have a little boost in your discipline, you could pick this one up if it's any better than what you already have. For the Titan subclass, here we are looking at the gauntlets with a pretty decent roll on recovery here. Everything else is pretty low. I would only say this would be useful if you have a low recovery roll on your gauntlets. Other than that, kind of a meh roll, to be honest with you. On the chest piece, an absolutely terrible roll. It's got high mobility and no resilience, high intellect. I would say pass on that. For the helmet, it has a pretty juicy roll on recovery and resilience. I'd say that's pretty good. Strength is also quite crucial to a lot of Titan builds. I'd say this is a pretty good helmet if you want to pick it up, if it's better than what you already have. And on the legs, high mobility, high discipline. This is also kind of a meh roll. I would just say pass on this one. And lastly, for the Hunter subclass, let's take a look at what it's got. For the gauntlets, it has a decent roll on intellect and on resilience, really low discipline roll, and a pretty terrible roll on recovery as well. So I would just say that's a pass on the chest piece. No discipline, no mobility, very low overall, so I'd say pass on that as well. On intellect, high base roll, but it has no resilience and no discipline. Pretty decent mobility though, I would just say pass on that. And finally on the leg armor, just a basic roll here as well, nothing too crazy. Pretty decent resilience, I would just say. Overall, nothing too great or anything to brag about. So to recap everything on this weekend's Zero review, I would say the 2 standouts would certainly be the Trinity Ghoul Catalyst and the Catalyst for Legend of Acrius. Other than that, nothing too crazy. I'm really sorry to report. Honestly, I would wish that this weekend had some more juicer rolls for armor, but those 2 catalysts for sure are really nice. I would say pick them up if you don't already have them. Xur has really blessed us with those. Again, I thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.